You're listening to the Culture Junkie podcast, where we go beyond the surface of pop culture.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Xandra. Together, we dive into the craft process and passion that drive today's creators. This is the Culture Junkie podcast. Life moves fast and your insurance should too. With on-the-fly insurance, you can compare rates, customize your coverage, and get a quote in minutes. It's 100% online, 100% secure, and 100% Canadian. So whether you're on the go or planning ahead, protect what matters most with ease. Head to ontheflyinsurance.com and get protection made easy. Built for life on the fly. Links in the bio or in the show notes below. All right, everybody, welcome. I'm really excited to be here today with Susie.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
So I'm Colombian. I was born in Colombia and I studied graphic design. And then after several years of working, I came to Canada. I came to study 3D animation at Sheridan. That was in 2015. And then I started working at Guru Studio. They're the company that makes Paw Patrol, but I was making a different show called Abby Hatcher. And I saw it from its very beginning till the last season they made. Then after that, I left and worked for Jamfil for another kind of year and a half. And I worked making a show called Dark and Grim. It was about the Grimm brothers, and it's kind of spooky. It's really cool. It's more for like teens or tweens.
Yeah.
I tried to show it to my daughter, and she was...
So how old is your daughter? Just to give an idea of what age it might be for.
My daughter will be 4 in May.
Right. So maybe a little bit older than 4.
Yeah.
Got it.
So then I worked for a company called Tangent. They were the only company that were doing 3D using a free program called Blender.
Mm,
And I had just gotten interest into getting into it because it's an incredibly flexible software and it's free,
yeah.
but it has all the tools you could even imagine. And I worked there for a couple months before they went under, it was pretty catastrophic. It was really sad at the moment because I would have, if everything went well, I would have moved to Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have done it because the show was great, the company was great, everybody was great. Like,
So at what point did that happen exactly?
that was maybe 2021.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. So you were there for a couple months working away and you were thinking about moving to Winnipeg
Yeah.
and then boom.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm jumping over everything. Yeah, so while I was working at Guru, I met my husband and we got together really quickly because we get along great, and we started dating, and he came to Canada in September because he's American. Then we moved in together in March.
Mm-hmm.
We started going out in October. We moved in together in March. We were very close to Guru, but we thought we're always going to be at work. And then the pandemic started end of March.
And
So
he's an artist as well.
Yes, he also works at Guru. He's an assets lead for Paw Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And well, now he's an assets lead. Back then he was just kind of junior starting. But
Okay.
he's gone so quickly, and
Wow.
I'm so proud of him. And then, yeah, we lived in a shoebox for as long as the pandemic lasted.
Right.
And we got along great. So my job at Jamfield and Tangent were at home with him. We were just together, quiet times. We were making pasta and cocktails after work because we wanted to keep it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the pandemic kind of started to end, almost around, we decided, hey, how about having a kid? And we had my daughter in 2022. By that time, I had started at an ad agency, and I was there for almost 4 years. And yeah, at the end, I guess I was terminated from that company because there were like differences in opinion. It was not a good match. Yeah.
Let me ask you what your favorite aspect of all the different jobs that you've had over the years, because you're from Colombia, moved
Yeah.
here, and you studied in Colombia, and then moved here, or did you move here to study?
No, I studied in Colombia, so obviously I went to school and then I studied graphic design in Colombia and I worked as a graphic designer for several years. And then when I moved here, I studied again. And I honestly believe you should never stop studying.
Yeah.
Like whenever possible, you should take steps to keep growing and keep learning. Because that's gonna provide you not only your brain to keep kind of working, because sometimes you get into work and you're in a rut because you're doing the things you were expected, but you don't keep like making your brain work for it. Always studying keeps you always on your toes, and
Hmm.
it's also going to improve your chances of employment and just doing things better.
So you went to Sheridan for 3D animation, and how did you find that it worked with graphic design? Did you think they were complementary to each other?
At the moment, I think it felt like steps, like it
Mm.
was the next step. But now that I'm looking at it, could have gotten into 3D without it. You just needed a good portfolio. You just needed to have a good portfolio and have like English obviously was pretty essential, but having a good portfolio, like having made pieces of artwork and showing interest in artwork was quite fundamental. So I feel like, and even nowadays, you can see like how, well, at least the way that normal life used to be, you would get any job based on your artwork, based on the fact that you've been working on art for a while and that you're getting better at it. So you keep displaying your artwork. It feels like for a while, the job market is becoming really, really, really tough.
Mm.
And it's your artwork is just not sufficing. You need connections, you need all these things. But I feel like, yeah, it's essential to have artwork and to be passionate.
What would you want someone to see in your portfolio?
Well, there's the idea that if you are creative, if you can
Mhm.
sit down and take any material or any medium and create a thing from scratch, then you are an artist. Otherwise, probably not. But if you look at any piece of art in history, even the big Guernica, which is that massive painting by Picasso that has a lot of little pieces, you
Mhm.
can take every little piece and research in history, and they come from somewhere. Like even the most fantastic, incredible artists, they come from somewhere. So like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm not the kind of creative person that sits there and will make a thing from scratch, but I will take ideas from other places and do something really nicely. I think I excel especially in taking other people's problems and kind of taking them to life. Like, give me an instruction
Mhm.
and I will create a thing from that instruction. So I think that that's where I thrive the best.
That sounds like something that would work really well in the advertising industry and in the
Precise.
problem solving industry because taking your creativity to because I mean isn't advertising just getting solving a problem at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think so. That is the idea is to communicate what the client has on their mind. I would like to, now that my life is kind of being shaken up and I need to reinvent myself a little, I do want to pursue a life that is, I would like to maybe help somebody in improving their life. I feel like advertisement is a lot about, getting people to consume and like the movement of goods. But
Mhm.
I would dream of getting into something where I could help people improve
Nice.
themselves, their lives, their surroundings, maybe community, which is, I don't know. I feel like when we're younger, we are very idealistic and we're hoping to make the world better. There is a thing as young people being like, I want to make money.
Yeah.
It is a thing, it is valid, and it's it is there, but there's a lot of us who grew up thinking, I want to help people. I want to help. I want to make the world a little better. And I feel like we keep searching for that through our lives and hopefully one day we get to that.
So what would you tell somebody who is just coming into school? As you said, we were saying before, always keep going to school, always learn, always expand your knowledge base? Like, what would you tell some, because you were just talking about how you have to reinvent yourself, you
Mm,
know? And so maybe somebody coming into school is thinking they have a clear idea, a clear path of where they're gonna go. What would you say to them if they're just starting off their career and all the rocks and hurdles that you've climbed over in your path? What would you let them know right now?
I would say, um, the idea of having control is a fallacy that we get into. There is
Mhm.
no such thing. Like everything can change and everything does change. And I thought I was going to do graphic design my whole life. And then I got into 3D. And then I thought I was going to do that for my whole life. And now I'm kind of figuring out what to do. And I feel like maybe this is something that us older people got. And I feel like younger people are more kind of in tune with the fact that, like, your career is not the thing you're going to do forever. It is
Mm,
a start, and it is just like a starting point to whatever comes next, but which is so healthy, because if you were brought the way I was, that you have these steps and you have to do them. If you skip a step, you're going to fall. But at the end of the day, I don't know, mental health and being just ending your day feeling good with yourself is so much more important than all of these steps and the checking boxes. I've had jobs where I've had panic attacks. I've
right,
had syncopes, which is just passing out and nobody knows why, and
right.
going to the ER because I was under so much pressure and anxiety.
Mhm.
And yeah, just the most important thing is to just be okay with what you're doing. Just always keep an eye on yourself, because sometimes we put our career first. Keep an eye
Totally.
on your family, because that's where you keep going back to. The job ends, the career ends, the markets change, and suddenly your career is no longer very necessary. There's no new productions. So you have to kind of look back and look at your family, look at yourself, and not necessarily always to the future.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I've definitely had panic attacks because of work myself in the past, and was able to work through it, but I had to change my whole life. I had to leave the job that I was at the time and figure out what's next. What do I do next? Again, it's very much like completely figuring out, who am I in this atmosphere? And
That you are not your career.
exactly. And it's like, and what do I really care about, and what do I really want to put out in the world, as far as using my hands, using my brain, and using my creativity. So
And
it sounds like you want to touch base with your community outside of just career wise, and get in touch with people through building connections to other people, and perhaps creating some kind of inspiration and um, shared energy. And where do you see yourself perhaps doing that?
I mean, again, your job is not who you are. I'm at the point where I see myself doing anything that pays the bill,
Yeah.
but not dreading Mondays.
Yeah.
I've had two jobs where I mornings and Mondays they just gave me a stomach ache. But I've had so
Hmm.
many jobs where I was just excited to go in because I love the people, because I was okay with the work. And maybe the work can't always be the happiest thing ever,
Yeah.
but just getting there and being in an environment where you feel like you fit in. Yeah, I didn't dread Mondays. Like, it's Slavoj Žižek who says, you don't dread Mondays. You don't hate Mondays, you hate capitalism.
Yeah.
So, like,
Exactly.
you can be happy with the thing that brings you money for your home. So yeah, I just see myself doing anything that I don't have to dread. I see myself with a bit of a flexible schedule, and I feel like modern times are demanding, because I feel like companies are seeing that people are
Hmm.
people, and they have families and they have a life of their own. So a flexible schedule, I feel like it's just so much more normal than it was before. Before the pandemic at Guru, the CEO would never let you work from home. It was something that it was just not ever allowed. Snow days or anything like that, like maybe it could potentially be allowed. But nowadays, like the company works 3 days in office. And
Yeah.
for the whole pandemic, it was completely remote. So I feel like I don't think it's asking for too much. Not hating Mondays, flexibility, obviously being able to climb up in a company, like keep growing in a company,
Mm-hmm.
and a decent salary. I'd never want to be a millionaire. I feel like
Yeah.
millionaires have it so hard. They always have to surround themselves by walls and protect what they own.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to, what we all want, just a decent living and being able to provide to our families. Just nothing crazy.
Have you found that since you've had your daughter, have you found that your focus on work has expanded, changed, been different in any way?
I think it changed so much because even though like work was always a priority for me. And it is important, but I need to be able to pick her up. I need to be able to be there.
Yeah.
I was talking to an Italian friend of mine, shout out Morena, and she was telling me that when she was growing up, her grandma used to pick her up and take care of her during the weeks. And then her parents had a very easygoing lifestyle. They would have lunch at home and they would have a little nap and then go back to work and flexible schedule. And I was like, yeah, but when did you hang out with them?
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah, on the weekends. But
Right.
for me, the priority is to hang out with my kid after work and to keep being there for her. Cause I
Like a
feel like,
regular
especially,
schedule.
yeah. And things are getting kind of scarier for younger people. Social media and like other people I feel they're hungrier and people are not as patient anymore. Fights are becoming much more like easy and common.
Hmm.
And I want to be able to be there and guide her.
Yeah.
So it's changed completely. I feel like so much changes in you when you have a kid, because then you have your priorities set somewhere else.
Totally. Totally. I can see that. You and your husband both work in like kids media or have worked in kids media and been artists communicating to teens and tweens. And are you excited to like really convey that stuff to your daughter? Do you think she understands like, oh my God, you guys created or were a part of creating that? Because I talk to a lot of creators and they say their kids don't really, until they get older, they don't really understand like, oh my God, that's something that my mom and or my dad helped create and put out into the world. And then they maybe can reflect on that. Are you excited to have that be absorbed by your daughter as well?
Think they understand bits and pieces of all the things. She understands that Chris worked on a Paw Patrol movie because he kept telling us, "Oh, I did this, and it was really hard." Like he would tell us, but I think there's bits and pieces. Yesterday, we went to his office with her, and kids. I've taken kids to the Guru office a couple times, different kids, and they're always expecting something wonderful and big toys and but it's just an office with a lot of computers and like
Yeah.
tall children. Because when you work in animation, you're a tall child. We are playful and we are silly and we are nice, but we're just sitting in a computer. Like
Yeah.
it's
Maybe
it's
they're
not
expecting like Willy Wonka or
kind of. So she was like, I mean, cool, but can we leave?
yeah.
However, she left with a bouquet of candy because, of course, we are tall children. We can buy our own candy. So everybody had candy. They're like, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? The office also has a bunch of candy. So she left with so much candy, but she was like, can we leave? So she
Yeah.
gets it. But it's different processing. Or when we make drawings, I mean, I think she sees that like we have more, we draw a lot and we have more experience drawing because we are surrounded by art supplies. I collect them, I think. And so she sees that, but she understands bits and pieces. I make dresses now because when I lost my job, I was like, I'm not going to sit still. So I started sewing, and I'm doing alterations for people in my neighborhood. And I make some stuff. I make dresses, and I was making costumes for Halloween. And my daughter was like telling her friends, "Don't worry, ask your mommy; she can make one for you." And the parents would look at me like, "No."
The
So
expectations, they shot right up there. That's amazing, and but it's also good even though they might or all those kids that you introduced to the Paw Patrol Guru studios, perhaps it was good for them to see that the art that's created isn't a crazy magical adventure, but it comes from your mind, you know? So that might instill in them an idea of how things are creative, that it might look amazing on the outside with slides and colors, but the reality of it, they walk into an office in the future when they get older and they go, okay, I've seen this before. I've had my veil lifted early. But I wanted to ask you about you as a kid. Like, what inspired you to get into being an artist, to be interested in graphic design in the first place?
I wanted to be a vet.
Oh, really?
Like till I was a teen, I think I wanted to be a vet. I really enjoyed painting and drawing. I thought I was kind of good at it. Even my dad at some point told me, if you become a vet, I will abandon my career and do it with you.
Amazing.
But I don't think I registered that.
Yeah.
And then when he told me, I had told you when you were younger this, I was like, no, you didn't. Because I didn't. I mean, when you're a kid, everything seems like it's not me who has to do it. It's it's 20-year
Yeah.
old me. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, and then I met somebody, an ex, he was enraging because he was incredibly talented,
Mhm.
and everything he would start doing was wonderful. But then he also had a really bad depressive situation, and he would start drinking, and then he would lose his patience and just smudge it all and ruin it. And I just started feeling like I wish I could like do it and then finish it. Like I wish I could do it from start to finish and do this thing he's doing. He's really good at it. So I think it's so weird because we were kind of on and off together for 4 years, and eventually he did kill himself. But
Mm.
it's weird to think that somebody, one person, has such an influence in you, and you don't even kind of realize it at the moment. But years pass, and he got me interested in the graphic stuff, and then I kind of devoted my whole life to doing just that.
Wow. Wow. And how old are you when in your 20s or something?
No, I was 16
Okay. You were
when I met him.
young.
Yeah.
A young, impressionable girl who was inspired, I guess, by somebody who had great talent and was deep in connection in your life. So that
Yep.
it does make sense completely. Like, I remember getting into filmmaking and being an editor and video, and it was around the same time, you know? Again, an ex was, introducing it to me, and it's funny how perhaps you didn't know about something and they will share that side that you don't necessarily get to see from
Yeah.
somebody. So very, very interesting that you would take that and continue on in your own, but with your own voice.
Yeah. And if I can give a piece of advice to younger people, if you are going to date somebody older, because he was 21 and I was 16,
Mhm.
just stay. Sometimes older people have a baggage that you don't need to carry.
Mhm.
And that's something I would tell my younger self, that, yeah, if somebody's that's older is dating somebody that much younger, especially in these years. Like nowadays, if I did date when I was older, somebody who
Mhm.
was 10 years older than me, and I was already so much more formed that I didn't have as many issues. But when I was 16, I was really impressionable, and
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to tread carefully.
Yeah, I think I would like to think kids these days are a little more aware of stuff like that, maybe, hopefully. But it's always good to reiterate the fact that just be aware that grown-ups aren't perfect. And we have our own issues that we need to deal with. Just be aware and respect yourself and guard your own self as well, because we can get really lost in those
Yeah.
relationships. So have some awareness for your own
Yeah.
self, that you don't give it away to somebody who you think, well, they know better, because they
And
don't
people
always
don't
know better.
change. People don't change. Like,
Yeah.
people are what they are. I try to change him. The next person tried to change him, and eventually he did what he told millions of times everybody else that he was going to do.
Hmm.
People don't change. And
Yeah.
it's probably not bad. I mean, I have my flaws, and I'm probably am having a lot of trouble changing them, I guess. I'm hyper, and I'm intense, and I have all these things that are also very good that help me in other aspects, but even if I try it, it's going to be so hard to change because they're kind of part of who I am. So
Yeah.
yeah, just people don't change.
Yeah, I fully agree. There's a lot of parts of me that I'm just that's baked in. This is who I am. And yet it's funny because at the same time we do have to pivot, because you do change certain aspects of you, as in like your type of creativity that you like to do, your job, your I'm going to change being a design artist into a 3D artist, and from a 3D artist into making clothes or whatever's next, or many other things. But the fundamental stuff that makes you you is still there.
Or even worse, if you do change it, you're just masking it, but it's still
Hmm.
there. You hear sometimes people they're married with some. I saw this post of somebody who married somebody who made them feel like sometimes their comments were dumb, and they would touch their shoulder to be like, quiet down or tone down. And you surround yourself by people that tone you down, and
And
then
that
you just after some time you just feel like you're not yourself. You became somebody else, and that's also not great.
Well, that comes back to your don't be afraid of Mondays, because it's what you're going into on Monday. Because I think when I was talking to my friends, and it doesn't matter what job I was on, it always depended on who I was doing the job with. And
Yeah.
that because I could be doing anything. I could be doing lighting and film, I could be editing, I could be doing some crazy outdoor work. That I remember I was putting up a lighting grid outside for the Winter Olympics in Whistler, BC, and I had to dig a hole in the snow in order to put the truss in the hole, build up the lighting truss, put all the lights on there, wire it up, connect everything. And then the crew chief comes over and says, "What do you think?" to the producer. And he said, "I don't know. I think it should be over there." We had to take everything down, fill up the hole, dig a new hole, build it all up again, connect everything, turn it on, brings the producer over. He says, "I kind of liked it in the first place." So thankfully, I was with the most wonderful coworkers for that day. So even though it could have been the most frustrating day ever, we had a wonderful time. We worked, probably 10 hours overtime, and it was foolish, but, they were paying for it. Okay. We're getting paid for it. Okay. And we could see the light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't like, okay, tomorrow is going to be like this too. It's like, okay, this project is done. Now we have a story to tell and some money in the bank. But if you're doing it with a bunch of people who are difficult to work with, not
Negative,
fun,
just
it's just then it becomes so much more anxious, so much more anxiety, and it becomes from a job to a torture.
and the things you say align. This is something my therapist told me many years ago. What you say, imagine like you have a big ball of like freshly shaven sheep, and when you say things or write them, you are making it into a thread,
Hmm.
and that's what you end up with. So like if anytime you on Mondays you feel this, you have these feelings, if you're like, oh, this is horrible, I don't want to work, the things you're saying start creating the line of what's going to happen the rest of the day, because you're preparing yourself. You're creating, it's self-fulfilled prophecy.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. You're digging the grooves into slowly by running your hand over the same area again and again. You're creating a deeper groove into your brain, if you want to talk about neuroscience
Yeah.
or just habits being developed. And the yarn metaphor is really good as well.
Yeah.
So,
And then there's also neuroplasticity, which
yeah,
means that you can
exactly.
change your habits. You can start, actually, even if you don't feel it, but being like positive about it, and instead of thinking I'm nervous or I'm excited, because you feel the same when you're nervous and excited. So
Hmm.
if you verbalize that you are excited instead of nervous, then you can start rewiring your brain. And the thing is, my kid is hearing everything. Even if she's watching TV or we don't think she's there at all, she's always kind of listening. So I'm always trying to think, I want to become the person that she sees in me, because she sees me be so positive and so excited, because that's who I am when I'm in front of her.
Hmm.
But sometimes we have misunderstandings with my partner, but she's always listening. So I want her to see, I want to be the person that she sees. So even when we're having misunderstandings, instead of just blowing a fuse, I try to practice the things that I tell her when she's having a tantrum. Like,
Hmm.
what's the end of this? What do you want? What do you need? Stop. Do I need something? Let's stop first.
Yeah.
Then we can deal with it again.
That's a great thing to say. I want to be the person that I want her to see me as.
Yeah. Well, the saying is, I want to be the person my dog sees.
Yeah.
I don't have a dog.
You want to be the best you
Yeah.
that, and that's great to have somebody, something, a pet, even, or somebody in your life that you want to be that person that you want to be for them. And I think that's a
Accountable.
great thing.
Yeah.
I
Keeps you
need to remember
accountable.
that.
It is hard. And even, look, I noticed that the days that she has tantrums, and that instead of yelling at her,
Hmm.
I kind of talk to her and manage my emotions before expecting her to manage hers,
Yeah.
I feel more tired. They're exhausting. It is
Yeah.
exhausting to do things well.
Yes.
It is exhausting. I feel more like physically spent, but you go to bed thinking you are the person you want to be.
Yeah.
You are
My
proud of who you became.
my cousin, she would call me up and ask me and tell me about, being a parent, and she would say, "Do you think I'm being a good mom? Am I okay?" And I'm like, "The fact that you're even
Mm,
worried about it, the fact that you're doing your very best and then calling me and worrying that you're doing your best is a big indication that you are a good mom."
which is the best thing to say, because, oh my gosh, everybody has advice when you're
Yes.
a parent. You have to be stricter. You have to be this. You should do things different. But just thinking, am I doing things well enough, is a good indication. You are right.
Mhm. I think so. I think so. And, I do know for a fact that, if you're putting all of your energy as you do into trying to raise a little human as best you can, then you're being the best parent you can. So, I think that's great. Where just to wrap it up here as we come to the end, even it flew by so quickly.
Really?
But I wanna ask you, I know you said you wanted to create a community, to help people. Who would you wanna, like, connect with out in the world to help your vision come true?
Well, since the pandemic, uh, and in my last job, I felt a bit isolated.
Mhm,
And since I haven't been employed, I do talk to a lot of people, but I don't have a close relationship with a lot of people. I don't know. I see myself just creating a bigger community. And
mhm.
I know my kid's starting school in September, like big girl school. So I think that I, I want to commune. like create more community with other people. I don't know employment ways. I'm at the point where I will see, but I do see myself supporting other parents and supporting other people who are feeling like me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's the dream that I have right now. Just being able to at least create a space where the tools that I don't have can be provided,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
or being
Yeah.
a part of a space where I can facilitate people getting tools that, even if I don't have them, can be provided.
Because, yeah, the more people that you are able to connect with, the more resources that you're potentially having and solving problems that maybe you don't know how to solve on your own, but maybe somebody else is like, oh, I've seen that before.
Uh,
Let me just give you the life hack on that.
Cheek.
Yeah, cheat codes. Hello, over here. I was thinking, because I know we were talking a little before we started recording about, what are we doing? Because you're in Toronto, and just wondering what to do during the cold winter months. And I was thinking about a guy who is trying to create more third spaces in Toronto. So I will share that with you. And what he's doing is he is going down into the path in,
Gosh, I've heard of this.
yeah, have you heard of this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going down in the path and he's doing writing and art, and he's offering for other people just to help create this idea of more community, especially in these colder months,
Mm.
especially when it's cold outside. Is there a place that we can join that's free
Yeah.
and accessible and in a good time for people who aren't necessarily a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad? They have a little more flexibility in the times they can connect with people. So I think we should investigate that a little bit further.
Sounds great. Yeah, especially because even malls have very limited seating. Like, you
Yeah,
used to remember malls in the 80s
I
with
do.
like
Yeah.
massive like seating areas where you could just go there and sit there, and it's not like that anymore, it feels like.
Yeah, it was the full town center back in the day.
Mm.
Because I think we definitely in Toronto, we will get like really hibernating during the winter. Not so
Yeah.
much in Montreal. I found Montreal, everyone still goes out and they go out in the cold. They are like immune to the cold up there. It's crazy. Like I don't understand how they do it, but I like the idea of someplace you can go. It's easy to get to on the transit, and then you can just see people and connect and talk about art or writing or whatever they
And
have
free.
on the program that day.
Free, because it seems like now, as you go out on the street and you're spending $8 on a coffee,
Yeah,
and like everything has a cost,
it does.
and it starts kind of adding up to scary numbers.
Yeah, and yeah, I think building a community and connecting in that way, because that's something that I've talked about a lot with various people on the podcast, is the idea of, we've kind of lost that aspect of community in North America. It's like everybody's kind of on their rugged individualism,
Yeah.
or they're so busy and they can't take advantage of the thing that really makes us human
Mm.
and really helps our mental health and I think really helps us grow, because without connecting to people from outside of our, general purview, like you really do get stuck in that little bubble. So yeah, it's like I went out yesterday to just a little meeting for different business people talking about stuff, and we didn't like agree on all this stuff, but it was vulnerable. It's a little uncomfortable at first just to like get outside again and like talk to
Mhm.
people, and you're like, I haven't done this in a really long time. But I think you need a little practice, and to
Yeah.
have something that is low barrier of entry, low cost. It takes away a lot of anxiety. You don't feel like you have to perform.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that can really grow, and we can accomplish and do great things
Yeah.
for people, especially during these winter months.
Yeah. And everybody's so nice. If There's one thing I've learned from Canadians, they're nice. In my experience, it's a little harder to get to become closer,
Yeah.
but everybody is incredibly nice. Like, Canadians are known for being so incredibly nice, and that's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It's getting closer and creating a sense of community and support. Like, knowing that if I have to go to the hospital, I have to meeting, if I have something, I
Hmm.
have a couple of people that I
Yeah.
can be like, I need your help. Please, can you take care of my kid for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And I feel like I heard somebody say one time that everybody wants to be part of a village, but
Yep.
nobody wants to be a villager.
Yep.
And I feel like it's so important to create that support system where everybody kind of has each other's kind of hand. Yeah. And the growth also
Yeah.
comes by giving. It presents you with opportunities that you would never have otherwise acquired.
I don't know about you, but when I have been really depressed in my life, I something that helped me snap out of it is by giving to somebody else. Usually I will be all sad or whatever, and then I'll think, how can I show my love to somebody else? Write
Yeah.
them a card, draw them a picture. And that act of giving something to somebody else that I can't necessarily give to myself right now kind of has helped me snap out of it in the past. And then, of course, then by giving something to somebody else, you get something in return and remember, oh, this is what being alive is all about.
Cats. Like, I had a really bad depression in 2010, really bad depression. And for almost a year, I couldn't move out of bed. And then I started taking prescription medications, which helped a lot. But I got into cats. I was part of a cat foundation, and we would
Nice.
get cats from the streets and get them, well, their surgery so they couldn't reproduce. And then we would find them homes.
Yeah.
And just seeing people be so happy because they had a new creature in their life, a new baby. Um, and having seen all these cats be in such a bad condition to being happy and healthy in somebody's home, it was everything that got me out of depression. And I'm always thankful for cats. I love
Yeah.
cats.
I love them too. I know you babysit Oreo sometime, the cat, you know?
He's a beauty.
Yeah.
And my neighbors are wonderful.
Yes. Well, we love our neighbors too. Anyway, is there anything I know you were talking about you make your clothing now. How's that going? Are you thinking of expanding that a little bit? Or are you holding back from that?
Well, I want to always keep working on it because it's really fun. I think 3D training got me into how things are made, like clothing.
Mhm.
So I enjoy doing that. I'm always going to keep doing alterations if I can. I pick it up and drop it off in my area, at no extra cost or anything. And I have so much joy in presenting a good customer service, and I put them in a bag, ironed, and it makes me feel so happy. But I do think it's not stable enough, so I'm trying to find something else that will provide me with the stability. But yeah, I want to keep sewing. I do custom pieces. I make my daughter all kinds of dresses. I fix my own clothing, and I love fixing clothing for other people. So I'm always going to keep doing that, but not as a
Yeah.
main source of income.
All right. Well, share your portfolio here. Maybe we can get some people to take a look and
Yeah,
you know,
sublimebysusanna.com is my website, and pricing's there, and some of the things I've made are there. I don't put alterations because ideally,
yeah,
nobody would think that you did anything.
right,
That's what I aim for.
right.
So you wouldn't really see anything.
Fair enough.
But there's custom, like, costumes that I've made and like outfits I've made for myself. Sublimebysusanna.com is my website, and the stuff I do for graphic design in 3D, my 3D portfolio is in susanasierra.art. That's
Hmm.
my portfolio, so that's me.
All right. Well, we really had a great time talking to you today and listening to everything you had to say. Very
Yeah, me
interesting.
too.
I could have stayed on another hour because there's just so many interesting twists and turns to your story. And I
Thank
think
you.
I would love if you could come on again and share what you're doing, what you're inspired by, and what you're creating now later on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.